Here we are.
Oh, here we are-eth.
Here we are-eth. You're right. Here we are-eth. Welcometh. Howeth are thou on this day with the CURT and Jen in the morning podcast? I don't know. Hey, you know what? It's we don't always talk like that. Today is National Shakespeare Day, and it also Shakespeare Day because William Shakespeare supposedly was both born and died on this day, April 23rd. Born in 1564, died in 1616. They also made up a fun day called Talk Like Shakespeare Day.
So we can speak like Shakespeare by substituting thou, thee, and ye for you and they.
How are ye, Jen?
I is fine.
Nice. Today on this show, first of all, we always want to say thank you for listening, for viewing, and while if you're at it, how about liking, following, and or subscribeth? That's enough of that, isn't it?
Subscribeth, please.
Okay, we're all done with that. Today, we have for you the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the fan vote. This is not who officially is in the Hall of Fame, but they do a fan, what do you think? We'll have those results for you here today.
Yes, who has the perfect dog? One carb-free day might be all you need, and we also have the latest protein hack.
Our question of the day from Monday was your nicknames and how did you get them? We'll share those with you, as well as skills Gen Zers don't seem to have that's shocking to boomers.
And here's the question. Do you have a hard time deleting emails?
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me. We actually, it turns out that some people do, and we have comparisons like what would you rather do than delete emails?
The things that people would rather do versus delete emails is kind of funny.
And pretty shocking, yeah. So here we go. This is the big show for today.
I have a correction I need to make from the get-go.
Okay.
On Monday, I talked about my friend Lily. We went wine tasting, and then she made a proclamation about her friends not being ugly.
Right.
I got an email from her because she listens to the show. I got a text message, from her saying, "You misquoted me." And she said, it's all in the delivery. And what she said was, "I don't have ugly friends, not I won't be friends with ugly people."
And that's how you said it. She said, "I won't be friends with ugly people," which makes her sound kind of shallow, which she's not.
She said, "I don't have ugly friends."
Which is awesome. That's a compliment to all of her friends, right?
Which is what she said.
Right.
And she's like, "You can even ask my high school friends." So there you go. There's the correction. I'm sorry, Lily. You don't have ugly friends versus I won't be friends with ugly people.
You meant no harm by it.
But what the funny thing is I said, "Lily, what happens if I become ugly? Then I can't be your friend anymore?"
You're not going to become ugly.
Because she'd had a lot of, what did you call it? Something soup.
Oh, I said, I think I called it, when you get drunk, I think I called it the loudmouth soup.
Loudmouth soup, right.
Yeah.
And I clearly had something with my hearing. I didn't hear what she had said correctly.
Awesome. I like it.
Hi, we're New Edition, and we're here to introduce the great new taste of Coca Cola, the taste of today.
That sounds ancient, doesn't it? Because it is.
Yeah.
So Coke got the band New Edition back in 1985 to do a commercial touting new Coke. All right. 40 years ago on this day, April 23rd, Coca-Cola announced, "Hey, we're changing the secret flavor formula for Coke, and we're introducing new Coke," which you may remember at the time, Jen, you were quite young, but there was the Cola Wars going on. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And these commercials that they were doing for both Pepsi and Coke were like both attacking each other, saying Coke is better than Pepsi. They were mentioning their competitor in their ads. So for some reason, Coca-Cola decided they were going to change their secret flavor, and it wasn't going to be an option. Like, okay, you can have the old version or the new version. They just changed Coke to this new Coke, and people hated it.
And so they went back to the original one, right?
Well, they released new Coke, like I said, today in 1985, and then about 2 months later, they said, "Oh, hey, we also have this. We call it Coca-Cola Classic." So that was the original Coke, and you still had new Coke options up until, I don't know, quite a while, actually. They tried to get that to work, but obviously it faded into obscurity. And it was such a botched, deal marketing campaign that that's used as examples in marketing classes in college for like, this is the way not to do it.
Okay.
And you'd think a company as big as Coca Cola would not, buy something so badly, but they managed to somehow. Did I just play that? This one. Variety, spice of life. I'll make this quick. We were to go play trivia last night.
Oh, I thought you did. Did you not go?
Well, last minute something happened and I could not go. So we only had 2 members of Whiskey Business that showed up, Carrie and Randy, and apparently they didn't finish that great because you and I weren't there, Jen. The rest of the gang was not.
Oh, don't even put me in this because you don't even like to invite me, Kurt, because I don't contribute.
That's not. Listen, that's a whole other story, and that's not true, everybody. Just so you know.
Okay, what's your story of why you couldn't go?
We have a visitor coming tomorrow for the weekend to stay through. Actually, today now to stay through the weekend. So we're cleaning up the house, getting it all nice and clean. And I, genius that I am, decided, the guest bedroom needs to be straightened up, and I'm going to clean the fan blades on the ceiling fan. You know how they collect dust and gunk?
Yeah, lots of dust.
So I'm up there. I reach up there with my hand with a little microfiber towel, and crash! The fan comes down. And this is about 45 minutes before we were supposed to go do trivia. So now I've got a ceiling fan dangling from just two wires from the ceiling, just sort of dangling there. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. So we called our teammates and said, listen, we gotta fix this thing. I tried to fix it. Ceiling fans they're kind of done, and you probably know this, maybe you don't. I installed all these fans, and in my defense, they've been hanging nicely for 23 years now. But it's very difficult to work backwards. It's like, you do this, and that's how you put the thing up. So I was trying to reverse the order. It's like, well, I could take off all the fan blades and I could do this and this. And we're like, screw it. We're going to Lowe's and we're getting a new fan. So that's what we did. And I will install that after we're done with the show today.
Fan busted?
Mm-mm.
Well, then why not just use it?
The amount of time and work involved in reverse ordering it, to me, was going to take longer than just going and buying a fan.
Okay.
So, and starting from scratch. So that's what I did. And I apologize to Whiskey Business. I feel like I let the team down.
Maybe you could sell the old fan on OfferUp or Marketplace.
You know what? I'm not going to sell it. I was going to dump it, but no, I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to throw it away. I'm going to say, thank you for your service, fan. And come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to put the effort into, I guess I could take it out to the side of the street and say free fan.
I mean, it's better than trying to fit it in your car and moving it to the dump because you're not going to fit it in your garbage can.
I'm going to fit it in the back of my truck if I decide to do that. But
all right. Moving
all
on.
right. I said thank you for your service. I thought that's all you had to do when something dies. All right. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The actual winners, the new, what do you call it? The new inductees will be announced coming up actually Sunday on American Idol. But before that, they said, hey, fans, who would you say should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year? And they gave you the choices that are, the inductees or the people that are up for it. And the fan vote said the band Phish got the most votes. Phish. You may never have heard of Phish. Very popular touring band, kind of like the Grateful Dead used to be. I mean, I don't know if you've heard any Phish songs on the radio. Probably not. Maybe on the end back in the day.
I don't know.
But it turns out that Phish came in with the most votes to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Second went to Bad Company, classic rock band, followed by Billy Idol was third. Then Cyndi Lauper and Joe Cocker, and then the rest of the top 10 is, Soundgarden, Chubby Checker. Chubby Checker, huh? Black Crowes, Mariah Carey, and the band New Order / Joy Division.
You think Chubby
I'm just
Checker
surprised
would be in
that
there
Phish.
already?
What's that?
You think that Chubby Checker would be in there already?
Yeah, and maybe even Soundgarden. But anyway, we'll see what happens with the actual rock when they announce the inductees on Sunday night on American Idol. If you watch American Idol.
I thought it was fascinating that the fan vote doesn't have a ton of influence on who makes it in the hall. It counts for one single ballot in the official voting.
I imagine it's just kind of for fun, but then it does get people's hopes up, I suppose. Maybe Phish went online and said, hey, Phish fans, Put us down to win.
Get this. There's only been 1 year when the winner of the fan vote did not make the Hall of Fame, and it was the Dave Matthews Band back in 2020.
Well, but they're in there now.
They got in there last year, 4 years later, last year.
Okay. So we'll see. Sunday night, we'll get that announcement, and we'll see how it goes for fish. A local thing. I mean, everybody's heard of Pike Place Market, whether you live here or not, right? Big attraction for people coming to Seattle. They're going to start limiting access and limiting vehicle access actually at First and Pike. So if you live here and you know how congested it gets down there as it is, vehicle access will be limited at First and Pike. Actually, I think starting now, right?
Yeah. It is starting now, Kurt Cruz.
There is a project going on that's a pilot project program to cut congestion through the market. And it's also, right now, they're doing some work on the streets there. They are doing some sewer work, resetting cobblestone and historical bricks, adding some ADA compliant curb ramps at the corners of Stewart Street and Pike Place. But overall, they're just trying this pilot program to see if they can cut down on vehicle traffic through there.
Fascinating.
We tried to find something local, right?
Oh.
Let's move on. Let's just move on here.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I want to know if you think you have the perfect dog. Kurt, I'm asking you. Bella the Beagle. Is she the perfect dog?
She's the perfect beagle, is my understanding. I've never had beagles before, so beagles, they're tough to, they're pretty strong. I want to say they're strong-willed or bullheaded, however you want to put it. So she's a great little dog, but she is her 100% her own dog. She's like a cat. She'll do what she wants when she wants to. And
I have Snotty Sailor. So the thing about this is if you think you have the perfect dog, you probably don't, because there was a study at Texas A&M that found over 99% of dogs in the US have behavioral problems. And this is something they collected from more than 43,000 dogs of various breeds, ages, sizes, and locations. So it's pretty legit. Like, it's a pretty legit study is what I'm trying to say. And
some of these behavioral problems, they're talking like separation and attachment issues, fear and anxiety, aggression, and pooping or peeing in the house.
Yeah.
Not being potty trained.
So in the end, there was only about 1% chance that you have a perfect dog.
99.12% of dogs showed at least one behavior-related moderately serious or serious behavior, and at least two problems of moderate to serious intensity.
Yeah.
It's probably like humans. There's humans, all humans probably have something that, makes us not perfect, right?
For sure. Separation and attachment behaviors were the most common issues. Like restlessness, pacing, following people around the house, sitting close to them, blah, blah. Aggression is next, includes growling, snapping, and biting. And then minor behavioral problems may seem relatively harmless, but experts say it's important to work with your vet to appreciate what might be going on in the dog's mind and recognize when special care is required.
There you go. Snotty Sailor. I don't think Snotty Sailor is that snotty, because she's never nipped at me, but I understand
she has nipped at people, and it is mortifying as her owner.
Okay.
As her dog mom, when it doesn't match the vibe of the family.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
We had a story last show that this guy was saying that nicknames are becoming extinct.
Yeah, someone from the New York Times wrote an article about it.
And so that led us to say, hey, maybe they are, maybe they're not. But what is your nickname? Who gave it to you? And how did you get it? That was your question of the day from Monday. And you came around and you did a great job, as always, with the nicknames. A lot of them seem to be like variations of people's actual names.
Right. Like Lawrence, her family calls her Lolo. Her little cousin started calling her that when she was little, and it just ended up sticking.
Corey says that Eric was Ricky growing up, since all of his siblings' names started with an R and he was an E. So I guess there's Robin, Randy, Ramona, and Eric. So he became Ricky.
How random is that?
I wonder how you feel as the one. Well, how come I didn't get an R name?
That's
And our nickname.
crazy. And then you just arbitrarily say, okay, we'll just call you Ricky then.
Well, Eric is kind of Ricky. Shannon said her nickname is Auntie Shanny Bone Fanny. My nieces and nephews, he called me this when I was growing up. My kids even call me Auntie Shanny sometimes. It could be Auntie Shawnee. No, it's Auntie Shanny.
Auntie Shannon, yeah.
Mhm.
Marilyn said Mayor. My cousins couldn't say Marilyn.
Right.
Okay, and then Scott McCall is one of hot firefighter boyfriend's Pat's buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott McCall was called McCool, was his nickname given to him in high school by a friend. Why, you ask? Because he drove a cool muscle car, a 1968 Dodge Super Bee.
That is a cool car, but also, I mean, he's McCall, so that really lends itself to McCool.
For sure.
Susie, I've had several nicknames over the years. Most notably was named Leather. I rode a motorcycle and always wore a leather jacket and pants. And then later on, she says she was known as Queen Bee, but most notably, she was Leather. I've met Susie, and I can't see her all dressed up in leather for the motorcycle, but evidently that happened. Janelle, your friend Janelle?
Well, our friend Janelle, she listens a lot.
Whitey was the nickname by my husband. What's this?
By my husband's dad, which started when we were dating. I walked into their house one day and said, "Dang, you're so pale."
Oh, he said that. I need sunglasses to look at you. Now, 35 years later to this day, all my family's husband referred to me as Whitey. That's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the first time she walked in their house?
Hey, Whitey.
You're so pale, I need sunglasses to look at you.
Carrie, this was her nickname and how she got it. Growing up, I was Carrie Girl, called by family, and then Care Bear by friends. I think, isn't every Carrie at some point a Care Bear? Hey, Care Bear.
I mean, yeah.
Right. Becky said she was Beck and Becca. Becca was a while ago. And then she said pretty boring. Well, those are your nicknames. It's
What
not
about
boring.
Sierra, I don't know how to say this. Sayaya?
Sayaya or Yaya or
Chopper?
Sayaya came from one of my friends, and her name is Sierra. Sayaya came from one of my friends when we were little. She couldn't say my name. That seems to happen a lot too. And my dad started calling me Yaya. Okay.
What about Chopper or Choppy? Came from my grandpa from my chunky cheeks I used to have as a baby. Chopper.
Oh, so she was Yaya and Sayaya and also Chopper. Okay.
A lot of nicknames. Dang. And then Jill. Oh, this is my Aunt Jill. Bratilda. Growing up, I can't imagine why. And then Bean. Oh, because Jill Bean. Jilly.
I see. I like Bratilda. I got to say.
Bratilda. Yeah,
Bratilda.
that's awesome. And then
Here's an Eric. Is that
Eric,
the same Eric?
I think it might be, yeah. Little Ricky, Rick went in trouble.
Rick.
Rick.
Nice. Thank you for sharing your
Love it,
your
love it.
nicknames. That turned out to be a really good question. I like that.
Cheese, glorious cheese. Tastes mighty inviting.
I love cheese.
Glorious cheese.
I know you do. I was looking forward to doing this story because of you cheesehead. This is a protein hack for people that are looking to get more protein in their diet.
Well, because
I don't know if I
protein
would
is,
do
like,
this, but
all the rage right now, especially like, I mean, if you're in perimenopause, I'm just going to say this, you can't escape it. You're supposed to get more fiber and more protein, and you're supposed to get a lot of both.
okay. Well, this protein hack people are sharing is saying snacking on a wedge of Parmesan cheese.
Tell me
You know.
more. So just like grab a wedge of Parmesan cheese and start biting it, or do you shred it?
This points out, of course, social media is full of tips and tricks on how to pack your diet with whatever, but protein in this case. Some of them are legit, but then now they're saying people are snacking on wedges of Parmesan cheese. Parmesan Reggiano is known to be a high protein cheese with more than 10 grams of protein per ounce. But Parmesan in particular, I mean, I could see having like a little thing of Swiss cheese, pop, or whatever the case may be, or string cheese in particular. But would you eat a big old chunk of Parmesan cheese?
I mean, I like Parmesan cheese. I probably wouldn't grab a wedge and start eating it. I like it grated better. Here's how this became a thing. Of course, on TikTok,
Right.
a woman sitting in her car unwrapping a full wedge of Parmesan cheese. Maybe it was one of those Costco sized ones. That's where I get my wedges of Parmesan cheese because it's way cheaper. And
Okay.
the caption says, "I'm over protein bars, switching to blocks of Parmesan." And she just takes a bite off the wedge of it.
Hmm. Experts. Here's the experts saying that Parmesan is a solid protein source, but it's not great for binge snacking because of its higher fat and sodium levels. If you do add it to your diet, they suggest pairing it with fiber-rich foods for balance.
There's
Maybe
that
not just
fiber
biting
I
off
told
a,
you about.
yeah, a chewy, cheesy chunk of Parmesan cheese. They're saying maybe that's not the way to go for your protein. So along the same lines, for peeps that are trying to lose a few lbs, right?
Yeah.
There's a new study that says if you can manage to do one carb-free day a week, that might be all you need to do to help you lose weight and burn more fat. Just skipping carbs for one day a week.
Okay, I'll try it, but that will be hard for me. I
Just for a
like
day?
carbs.
Well, they're talking about some people that do the fasting, the intermittent fasting. So this says fasting works by forcing your body to tap into stored fat. The study found that going carb-free for a full day, meaning no bread, no pasta, etc., may have a similar effect even if you eat the same number of calories. Our bodies burn carbs first since they're easier to digest, but when you eat them constantly, your body leans on them for energy instead of burning fat. So giving your system a carb-free day breaks that cycle. Even one day a week, it helped. And doing it more often, like every couple days, might be even better.
So you
And
cannot
Empiric
eat
says,
any
nope.
carbs. Well, no, hold on a second. You cannot eat any carbs for one day. So that also means vegetables and fruits, right? Because they have carbs in it.
It does not mention vegetables and fruits in here. So I think maybe, are they talking about like starchy things? Potatoes
I'm
and
gonna ask my friend Lori is what I'm gonna do and ask her
she would know.
about that. She would
Okay.
know for sure, for sure.
Yeah, we don't want to pass along bad information. We're just, we saw it on the internet, so it has to be true, right?
I like this story a lot.
Let's go.
Okay, these are common skills that Gen Zers do not know how to do, and boomers are shocked by this. And I will say that as a Gen Xer, I too am shocked.
Okay.
And my daughter has once told me, I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, are you kidding? You sit down here right now and you are going to learn. She's like, well, I know, but I just don't remember. All
I'm
right.
going to learn you right now, youngin.
That's right. Okay, so here's some of them. How to read a map
yeah.
and figure out directions without GPS. I would have a hard time doing that now too. I mean, we've relied so much on GPS.
I would only have a hard time doing that because I'd have to wear like really thick glasses to see, when you look, your GPS is definitely helpful, but more common skills that boomers are shocked that Gen Zers said they don't know how to address a piece of mail. That happened at work.
Yes.
Didn't some guy put down, the person's name and then like Steubenville and that was it?
We had someone work at the radio station in promotions who did not know how to address a piece of mail. And that was the thing that I was talking about that Macy was like, I don't remember how to do this.
Wow. Other things.
How to unclog a toilet using a plunger.
Mm-hmm.
That can be hard to do sometimes. How to tell time on a clock with hands.
Analog, I guess. How to count correct change. How to type on an actual keyboard. Because did you have to take typing lessons or typing in school?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I was required to.
Me too. How to mend clothes and sew on buttons. I can do that, but not very well.
Wait a second. How to type on an actual keyboard? Does that mean, I wonder if they mean actually type, because I think there's a lot of kids that don't know how to type because a keyboard's a keyboard, right?
Oh, so you're saying or pecking at it or whatever?
Yeah, hunt and peck is probably versus using the right, where your fingers go on the keyboard and all that. Okay.
Boomers are shocked that some Gen Zers don't know how to cook or do basic handy person skills.
I mean, handy person skills, like handyman basic skills. I think that unless you're exposed to that from your parents, how are you going to know to do that? And I guess changing a light bulb, that should be easy enough. I got to check with Macy on some of this stuff.
They had examples of changing a light fixture, which I'm going to have to do with my fan today.
Oh, a light fixture? I wouldn't be able to change a light fixture.
Yeah, those don't seem like those are basic handyman skills, but simple outlet replacement, I've done that. But
oh my God, I wouldn't be able to do that.
You just go and you just go down to your fuse box or whatever, not your fuse box. What do you call it? You have to flip the switch for whatever that is, and then so you don't zap yourself.
I'm calling Project Pat if I'm doing that, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. The fuse box. What?
Oh.
Why am I blanking on that? All right.
The breaker box. The
Breaker box. That's it. It's early for me. Sorry. Some people say that Gen Zers don't know how to write a check.
I mean, most people don't even accept checks anymore.
Right.
How to
Things
write
like-
cursive. They don't even teach that in school anymore. How to use a manual can opener. How to drive a stick shift, how to read Roman numerals, and how to use non-mobile technology. What's non?
Here's what
What's
we
non-
had from a boomer said, I'm not kidding. Young people who have mostly only used phones have not the slightest idea where a file went till they downloaded it or what to do with a PDF. But those are relatively new things. That's not like boomery things. That's what they're saying. Gen Zers, aka kids. Are we picking on it Gen Zers too much?
I don't feel like it. I just, here's the thing. I think that boomers are shocked by, I'm shocked by some of the stuff too, but they just don't get exposure to it because they don't need to. Like when do you need to read Roman numerals?
Well, I'll tell you what, the first thing I thought of when I'm going to have to replace this ceiling fan is there is directions on how to do it, instructions, but I'm like, I'm just going to go watch a YouTube video. I mean, I think I know how to do it, but I want to do it right, obviously. So,
Yeah, well,
all right.
use your resources.
Not picking on Gen Z.
Resources exist now, so.
All right.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
I couldn't like this.
This is probably good. We'll keep it short, but I love hearing this. Ben Affleck says that his kids have got to get minimum wage jobs. This all started when one of their kids, because he has 3 kids with his ex-wife, Jennifer Garner, Violet, Finn, and Samuel, who is 13. So I guess Sam was at a store with Ben. This is a video that went viral recently, and he wanted to buy a $6,000 pair of sneakers. All right.
I mean, what in the actual,
Yeah.
know what?
So
Come
the 13-year-old Samuel Affleck says, I want to buy these sneakers. So then the response when Ben said, no, we're not going to get those sneakers, Sam was like, well, we have the money. And Ben was like, no, I have the money. You're broke. So basically he said, Sam, if you want $6,000 shoes, you can work 1,000 hours at minimum wage. And if you work your 1,000 hours, at that point, you might want to spend those $1,000 worth of work on a pair of shoes.
Good for Ben Affleck for teaching his kids the value of money and the importance of hard work.
Yeah, you do hear about that. And sometimes it makes the news. It's like, super rich guy won't give his kids any money because they need to learn how to work for themselves. Like, good for you, super rich guy. That seems fair to me. I mean, I had to get a minimum wage job and I wasn't even super rich. I wasn't even like somewhat rich. Still not.
Yeah, well, for sure not now. We don't even have JOBs. So Ben says
We don't need no education.
What do you think about this one? Things people are 100% brainwashed into believing that they need. So the story is basically saying there are some things that we go out and get just because we've been, quote unquote, brainwashed to think that we need these things.
this was a Reddit thing that someone posted a question on Reddit. And
Okay.
some of the answers, like these were some of the highlights that the answers were, we're brainwashed into thinking this 100% needs to happen, or we 100% need this.
And extend an endless stream of clothes and accessories to follow every trend. All right. Expensive weddings, also expensive funerals. They're saying not necessary at all. How about social media? Is that something that we've been brainwashed that we need?
I mean, if I had a job where they're like, you have to have social media in order to do your job.
I have wondered about that. If I did not have a job that needed to have social media, like when we were doing the radio show, would I be that, interested in it? Probably not.
Yeah. 12-step skincare routine, overpriced makeup and personal hygiene products, super white teeth to the point where it looks unnatural.
Yeah. These are things we're brainwashed to think that we need. Plastic surgery, a car, or they're saying a new car immediately after you've paid off the current one. I love it when I've got a car paid off. It's like, I'm going to enjoy this for a while.
Yeah. Fabric softener, that's an interesting answer.
I think fabric softener is okay, but the people that have to have the newest phone every year, no matter the price, or every time they come out with a new one, that's something that we've been brainwashed apparently to think that we need.
A lot of things for babies, especially new things. Someone says babies don't need things. Parents think they need things. That's true. I mean, there's so many things for babies.
And your pets as well. I mean,
Yeah.
so your fur babies.
Hey, what's a couple
People
more?
say it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say what's a couple more.
Gender reveal, something that we're brainwashed to think that you need to do. I don't think you need to do that. Also, going and getting replacement, like a replacement ceiling fan. You can fix stuff. You don't always need another one.
Also the gobs of toothpaste, you only need a pea-sized amount. We talked about that before on another show.
Gobs, yeah. When you're doing your toothpaste in the morning, just a little bit'll do. You don't need to have a big old chunky chunk. There you go. Emails. The bane of our existence, the emails.
I hate
And I'm not going to look right now, but we have, all of us, I think, have looked at one point or another to see how many emails we had, unopened emails.
unopened.
Well, see, I'm not good at all about putting them into different folders. So every email I get is in my inbox, and the ones that I say I'll deal with later are still in my inbox, and therefore I end up with 5,000 emails or something.
I have so many. I have so many.
How bad is deleting emails is the question. If you finally started making a dent in some spring cleaning, maybe you need to do a digital spring cleaning as well. Apparently,
We talked about digital spring cleaning before.
Yeah. The digital spring cleaning, deleting old emails, clearing up unused files that are taking up space and slowing things down, dealing with data buildup, all these things. Almost all people, 90%, 95% of people say that they try to delete unnecessary files to keep their devices functioning, but only 10% feel confident doing it. I just keep on saying to myself, one day, I'm going to sit there all day and do this. Do you say that to yourself?
No, because I don't ever want to do that. That sounds
okay.
terrible. I would rather do this whole thing is about what you like, kind of things that people would rather do than delete emails. And Kurt, you already have your devices stroking out because they're so full or something's happening to them.
It's true. Well, here's some of the things less popular. Cleaning up your devices is even less popular than some things. Like 6 in 10 people say they'd rather wash dishes than face their digital files. Dun, dun, dun.
1 in 4 would rather get an annual physical or go to the dentist than deal with their digital clutter.
We have 20% of people say, you know what, rather than deal with my digital clutter, I would rather eat liver and onions. I'll do that rather than delete old emails.
I've never even had liver and onions, and it sounds terrible.
I imagine it is, but some people probably love it. Finally, the average American says that they delete unneeded stored photos about as often as they clean out their junk drawer once or twice per year. I don't clean out a junk drawer once or twice per year. The junk drawer is there to collect junk continuously.
Yeah, okay. I maybe clean the junk drawer out once a year because I've got so much in there I can't put another thing in.
Oh, that's it. So it gets so full, you have to eventually.
And that's what happens with my photos. My phone starts stroking out, and I'm like, all right, I guess I need to figure out either buy more storage on Google or clean out my phone.
Well, I think that I saw photos is different than emails, obviously, but didn't she have like 12,000 photos at one point or something like that?
Yeah.
That's a lot of photos. I'm just saying.
Not even
Right? You're right. You are not the worst of the worst.
Thanks, Kurt.
How about our question of the day?
Yeah.
We'll have answers for you on Friday to this question.
Here it is. What's an expensive purchase that was totally worth it?
Coming out of that story on things that you think that you need, or we're brainwashed into thinking that we need. An expensive purchase, it was totally worth it. I got to think about that.
I think that, you know what? I bought my Party Pilot brand new, and it was expensive. I mean, it was the most expensive car I'd ever owned.
Mm-hmm.
And it was totally worth it. Like
my truck, same thing. My F-150. I had always bought used cars, used vehicles, or off-lease vehicles or whatever. It was the end of the year. It was being clearanced out or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'll get that. And that was a great purchase. Still going strong. But you've got like 300,000 miles on yours. I've not even got 100 on mine yet.
Yeah.
All right. What's an expensive purchase that was totally worth it? Let us know. We will share those with you coming up here on Friday. In the meantime, have a greatest Shakespeare, talk like Shakespeare day, you.
Or you know what? Just have an awesome Wednesday.
There's that.
The best day that you can. Make good choices. Find joy. Spread kindness. And laugh because it's good for the soul. And we will see you on Friday with a new episode. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Al, for listening.